Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. You know I had to come through with Behind the Blurb for the finale. I mean, it's the only segment, and I mean the only segment, that has the honor to have an absolute legend on camera, making their Blurb debut on top of that, too. So do me a favor and please welcome, from Bedford, Ohio, get ready to introduce the one that makes it all happen for all of us, your friend and mine, the mighty JoAnn Larsen!
Oh, thank you. How are you?
I'm amazing. And especially to see you. I'm so glad to have you on. It's an absolute pleasure through and through.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, of course, you know, you and I obviously know each other decently well, but for those that are watching, this is a lot of people's first time meeting you. So do me a favor and just tell us about yourself and like let our audience know just all the awesome things you do for us and just how you got here. Just tell us about like your story, basically.
Okay. I started eons ago in radio, actually, and that was in the 70s. And then Channel 43 had an opening, and so I started in TV. And I was basically loading film projectors, you know, and doing videotape and dealing with, we had some live stuff there too. It was Barnaby, and we would record that, and Superhost and the Prize Movie. Oh. But we were an independent TV station that also had a production house attached. So then I got into production. So we were doing commercials and shows, and I really loved all that. So I became an editor and then a director there. And after being there many years, Channel 19, who was actually a competition of ours locally, they bought us, and we merged and became a duopoly, which is nowadays you have two stations under one roof a lot. But back then we were one of 16 in the country that were actually a duopoly. And so then we moved the stations downtown and became one big happy family. And then over time, you know, there were different things. Like a lot of times they changed our production department or our production facility to a production department. Yeah. We also did a lot of that direct response stuff, like the call now, you know, the stuff you watch late at night.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
all the music videos, you know, call now for your Time Life collection. So we would do those commercials and actually ship them all over the country, believe it or not. We had quite a system there. And then we did a lot of commercial production. We did infomercials, and I was notorious for doing the Subway commercials. That was my main client. But a lot of car dealers and stuff like that. So that was really fun. Then it became, we were doing a little bit of commercial production, but more so we were dealing with promotion and marketing. So I was in that vein of it for a while, and then I did a lot of public affairs stuff, like when they had walks for the station, stuff like that. Right. So anyways, that was my thing there, and I was there 42 years, and under 5 different ownership changes, and the last owners that came to be were trying to cut back. So they offered buyouts to people. And I took a buyout after being there 42 years. And then I was just kind of freelancing or whatever. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to really, you know, retire. And my daughter-in-law was looking for work all over. And she called me and she said, there's an opening at Kent State, you know, for studio. Asking if you knew anything about studio production. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, you know. She goes, well, why don't you apply? So I had to make a resume, which I hadn't done in 42 years.
Right.
Because I'd been at the same place. So it was kind of interesting. So I came here, and it was actually they needed like a studio supervisor, basically. And I knew a lot about the studio and remote work, too. But I'm not a professor by any means. So you know, I couldn't be in the classroom, but they thought that all my experience, you know, could lend its hand to helping everybody out here with the students. So I just kind of fell into observing the newscast, and then it turned into, you know, it's really enlightening to be around younger people getting into the field, as opposed to I was at the tail end where, you know, you were getting a lot of people saying, oh, we used to do it like this and we don't anymore, that kind of thing. Where, it was getting old. So it's enlightening to have you guys all be fresh, have fresh ideas and trying new things. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, and it's great too that like you came like to us with like all this experience that you've gained for a long time. Like that just proves to us that like we know that you've like been through the thick of it and like have seen those like errors that may happen, so you like know good protocol to like help us out if anything were to happen and whatnot. And it's because of you that like if any hole that we do get into, we're able to easily get ourselves back out of. And it just fills me with unfathomable gratitude as both the showrunner of The Blurb and the TV exec producer of all of BSC that you're just like that much there for us and like readily available when we need anything. And it cannot be undervalued to any extent of the imagination, which is why we had to show everyone, all of our BSC audience, what you're capable of. Because without you, we very much probably won't be here. So we truly owe you a lot. And with that being said, now that you kind of explained how you've gotten here, I wanted to kind of aim towards like stuff that's been centralized to like what we're doing now. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, out of your time of working with The Blurb, what would you say is your favorite memory of like working with it, like the stuff that you may have done for it, and what memories that may have came?
Well, things don't usually break during the show, so that's an advantage. But what I really got a kick out of, my favorite part was during Extra Life, this past Extra Life, when we did the pie in the face of shaving cream. And the beauty of that was during the Blurb section, you guys raised a ton of money. We did. I mean, a lot of money. We almost used up all the shaving cream. So that was really pretty cool. We literally had less. We literally had like 75% cream to the face and 25% pulling out Jang of Black. So we literally almost raised the entire goal within the span of The Blurb. Right. Which was pretty crazy. I mean, that was really a favored moment.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It just shows that like, if you have fun stuff like that, it can like garner a lot of positivity, and it's just able to like have a lot of, you're doing it all for a great cause. So I couldn't agree with you more. And I definitely learned a lot from it too. It was the first Extra Life I've done for The Blurb that I produced on it for. I learned a lot from it and what to take initiative on for next time it runs around. But that actually leads me pretty good into the next question I have for you. So I guess in terms of like the episodes themselves, I wanted to ask you what your favorite Blurb moment was that you've observed, that you've seen happen like on air directly from the cast.
Well, it was one of your after the blurbs when you interviewed yourself. That was hilarious. It was hilarious. It was so clever. I just really, that was my all-time fave. Right up there with, wow, how'd you pull that off? It was great. It was great.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was something I wanted to do for a while, and I'm really glad that I pulled it off. I'm telling you, when I was the one sitting right here that had to do it, it was almost impossible for me to keep a straight face for more than 30 seconds because I literally just had to look at myself and just be like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm just laughing just thinking about it.
I know.
It's just insane because like I had to like keep myself like cool and to keep a straight face, but I literally just have to look at nothing during production. Until I line it up. So
yeah, that was good. That was very well done.
And hey, I mean, that is leading to what might be the one to dethrone even that one.
Oh, really? What? This?
You never know. You never know.
Oh boy. Okay.
You have no idea.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right.
I mean, hey, I mean, after this, you'll probably be a celebrity on The Blurb.
Oh boy.
Which leads me beautifully into my next question. If you were any celebrity you could choose for a full day, full 24 hours, from the moment you wake up from the moment you went to bed, who would you want to be?
She's not much of a celebrity anymore, but Sally Field.
Sally Field?
Yeah. She was Gidget back in the day.
Oh yeah.
She was the Flying Nun, but she was in Norma Ray, and what was the not Brothers? What was that? She was in an HBO show with Rob Lowe. That was really good too, and see, I'm drawing a blank on what that was. But every time I see her in anything, she's just always been really good. She has been out of the limelight for quite some time now, though. And I don't know if she's still acting. But that would be the celebrity I would pick.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That just shows the impact that she did have, even if she may not be in her prime. She probably still has left a lot to be desired for. Not left a lot to be desired, but still has a lot of love for a lot of people that have adored her back in the day. So I definitely respect that answer. I can't really say I know much about her, but fundamentally speaking, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to learning more about her and being exposed to the kind of like stuff that she's acted in and whatnot. So I'll have to definitely look into her a little bit more. Do you think she made a lot of money?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. One of my friends actually calls me Gidget because she thinks I look like Sally Field. So.
Well, hey, that lines up even more.
Yeah. So I always thought she was a good actress. So.
And continuing on the train of good transitions, that once again leads me really good into the next question. So I wanted to ask you, say that you had like no tax directly in your bank account, no tax write-offs or anything like that, and it's all into your possession. I want to ask, what would you do if you suddenly won $20 million on the dot? $20 million.
20 million. Wow. Huh. What would I do with that? Well, I definitely finish building my house because we're in the midst of
Oh, you're building
trying
a
to
house?
build a house. Yes. So I would pay all that off. Probably make sure that everything was how I wanted it, as opposed to cutting costs. Take care of my family, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure I would do something philanthropic, too, with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Probably. Who knows? Donate it here. Get you guys some new gear.
I mean, wouldn't be opposed to it. That's very thoughtful of you to like offer that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad seeing you treat yourself with that, though.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be great.
Yeah, and congratulations again on the house. I hope that works out really well for you.
It's getting there.
Yeah. So with that being said, the next thing I want to ask you, what I want to ask is, from the moment you wake up, from the moment you go to bed, and all in between, I want you to describe to me what your perfect day would be. Like, just fully perfect day, no caveats or anything like that.
Wow.
How would you want your day to go about?
I would probably get enough sleep, which I usually don't do. And then I would work out. That would be wonderful. See my grandkids. That would be fun. And then do something that makes you feel like you've accomplished something. Like when I come here, I feel at the end of the day like I've accomplished something. I've done something good. I feel like I was needed somewhere, as opposed to. And another thing I would do in a perfect day would be talk to a friend. What I realized during COVID was, so many times if you're talking to somebody, you're just making it a fast conversation. And when COVID hit and everybody all of a sudden had time, then they could really talk to people. And I started making that more my MO. It's like, take the time to really talk to people as opposed to rushing through stuff, So that would be a perfect day, I would think.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. And everybody definitely take the time while you can to talk to your friends and family through and through and have thorough conversations with them. Mm-hmm. The one and only has said it herself. Because you never know that opportunity, that you might just throw that opportunity away. Who knows? So take advantage of it while you have it. So, moving on to, moving back to a little bit of the Blurb's kind of like catalog here with like what we talk about and whatnot. As you know, we're we're a show that likes to talk about music. In music, in fact, stay tuned because we have a block all about music coming up. Anyway, I wanted to ask you specifically, what are some of your favorite bands / like music artists that you've like grown up on / like are invested in?
Well, I always like Steely Dan, Steve Winwood, Traffic, you know, the Eagles.
The Eagles are awesome.
My favorite concert was the World Series of Rock. They used to have these, it was like a little mini Woodstock down at the stadium in Cleveland. This was in the 70s. But they would have lots of groups, and my all-time favorite was when the headliner was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. That was really awesome. I like the Eagles, you know, more that kind of, that's my kind of vibe. But when I was working in radio, you know, I got to meet people in the music business. A lot of my friends worked at record companies, so I used to get free albums, you know, and stuff, and that was just a great time in life. We'd go to Blossom, like I know you go to Blossom a lot, almost as much as I did back then.
we definitely did, and like I said, I'm going to talk more about that later in the episode.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's great. But yeah, that kind of music, you know, I used to always listen to, and I still like vinyl. You know, CDs are fine, and you know now you can listen to files, but vinyl's got that dynamic range. And
exactly, I got that dynamic range. I got them. If you can find the original master recordings
yes.
that way too. You got that lovely authenticity, and it's just you really keep a hold of history that way. You can't really do much else when you have it like digitally and whatnot. You don't really own it that way.
Right.
You should have the license. You have the license to play it or stream it, but it's not really yours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very different. And if you're into audio at all and you know what, you know, a waveform is, you know, you look at that. And when you look at sometimes the stuff now, you know, it comes out just all straight instead of having that dynamic range. It's like, oh, it's so sad. And I don't understand electronic music yet. I don't. That's one thing I just can't wrap my head around yet.
Honestly, neither can I. It's a little funky to say the least. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna just kind of be like one of those things where it'll just like be something that we'll all grow used to eventually.
I know. Well, the other day when they did the 50th anniversary of hip hop, I was stunned. It's like, wow, hip hop's been around that long?
Yeah, it's been.
It's crazy. So you just don't realize how that's, and then some music is just timeless, you know, so that's always been good stuff to listen to.
Good stuff to listen to for the ages. And speaking of good things, I have one last question for you, and you be as descriptive on this as you'd like. If you yourself had to summarize the blurb in just one word, you only had one word to summarize the blurb, what word would you choose?
I was thinking about that. That's a real tough one. And I hate to use the term entertaining, but it is. It's entertaining, but it's also catchy. It's catchy. I don't know. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's not real descriptive, but it is.
I mean, that's a valid description.
Yeah.
I mean, we are entertaining as being in an entertainment outlet,
Right.
and we catch audience attention.
You do.
The theme song's also pretty catchy
Yeah,
too.
it is.
So, I mean, I'd say that's accurate. Coming from the showrunner, I'd say that's accurate.
Okay, good.
I say
Thank you for accepting that.
I'd say that's a very valid response.
Okay, good. Thank you.
JoAnn Larsen, everybody. We'll be right back for more programming.
Thanks.